Hey everybody, Ray Del Vecchio here. Thanks for tuning in to another video. Today we're going to talk about how much should I charge for a website. I would say that's the question that clients ask the most. Obviously they want to know how much a website costs for them, and it's also the question that people learning web design want to know because they want to know how much money they can make by selling a website. So just to give you a short background about myself, as I said, my name is Ray Del Vecchio. And I've been making websites for the past 10 years, and I've worked with both national clients and also small businesses, local mom and pop shops, or one-man businesses that need help with online marketing. And the answer that no one wants to hear is that the price depends. That's the shocker here, or I should say it's not really a shocker. The price is going to depend. You could find websites from anywhere from free, or say $50, to $10,000 depending on what the project is. Now, having said that, I think there's a couple things that we can kind of touch on, and that is, number one, even though you want to set an hourly rate for yourself, do everything you can to not charge by the hour, instead charge by the project. And the reason for that is simple. Number one, when a client hears a price for a project, they know what they're going to pay in advance. Whereas for hourly, they may get hit with a bill and not be happy with, the amount of time that you took to do something. And obviously, over time, you're going to get better at whatever you're doing, so you shouldn't get compensated less for that if you do things quicker. So try and stick with a project price, and you could always increase the project price, but do your best to not take on hourly work or, small jobs that you don't think are going to lead to much more work in the future. The other thing that I recommend is do not list your prices on your website. People might go on there and they want to see what they're going to pay. But ultimately, a website could be a one-page brochure type website. You could have contact forms on there. You could do advanced tracking. You could have e-commerce where you're actually selling products on there. So it's best to have a conversation with somebody before you give them an idea of what they're going to pay, so you know what work you have to do up front. The only exception to this is if you have some type of fixed monthly service that you offer for, say, $99 a month or $149 a month. If you have that, then you may actually want people to know that they have, 1, 2, or 3 packages to choose from, and you might want to list the prices in that way. But if you're going to do that, you need to be extremely specific with what comes in each package. Another thing to think about that really does ring true is that cheap prices equal cheap customers. And what that means is the cheaper your prices are, the more people are going to try and take advantage of you, because it's just weird psychologically, but the more you pay for something, the more you value that service. So if you have a cheap price, people aren't really going to value you as much, and they're going to try and get more and squeeze as much out of you as possible for what they're paying you. Whereas if you price yourself a little bit at a premium price, you'll have more leeway to over deliver and to really make the project extremely nice, to make sure that you please the client and you really wow them. So it's always better to price yourself a little bit on the higher end. And this is hard to do at first. This really is hard to do at first. But build a couple sites, get a couple sites through your personal network, and make sure that after you get done a few of them, you price yourself at that premium level, because if you're the lowest cost, you're a commodity and you're going to be replaceable. And the perfect example of this, are all the big services, the big companies that are offering the lowest level website creation services, like your Squarespace, Yellow Pages, Vistaprint, GoDaddy, all of them. They offer website packages for $10, $20 a month. So, but the thing is, you want to find businesses that don't even use the computer. They don't want to do that stuff themselves. And there's a ton of them out there. There's plenty of them out there. So that is what you're looking for. You want to become an asset to those types of businesses that trust you and that really value what you do and see the benefit that you're providing for them and for their business. So the next slide here is a little bit more about client management. And the reason I included this in terms of pricing is because this is what's going to determine how much the website costs. Number one is you want to create a questionnaire that you send to customers, or even just give them a call and go through this questionnaire over the phone and write down the answers. But go through the questionnaire so you have an idea of how many pages need to be built, the type of functionality that they're looking for, maybe the type of design that they're looking for, if they could send you a few links for examples. But get as much information as you can. And actually, I'll include a PDF download of a questionnaire that I use. All you got to do is go to the website that I'm linking right here and sign up, and I'll send you a free PDF of that. So yeah, before you start a project, always go through that questionnaire. Now, the other thing that you want to do is when you present your proposal with the price, make sure you give them a bolded list of everything that's going to come with the website, because if you don't do that, a lot of times people are going to abuse you, and they're going to say, oh, well, I also need this page, or I need this done, or I need that done, or I thought this was going to be included. And you don't want to get into that type of back and forth. So be very clear about what needs to be done up front, so both of you know going into the project what's to be expected from each party and the communication between the two of you. And this is really the thing that you need to understand when it comes to pricing, and that is the price is determined by two things: the value to the client and your own time, the way that you value your own time. Now, what I mean is, by your time, simply think about how long it's going to take you to complete the project. And what I have written down here is estimate how long you think it's going to take and double it, because you're always going to underestimate the first couple projects you do, and maybe even on top of that. I mean, I think a lot of people just seem to be overly ambitious when it comes to websites, and they don't necessarily take into account the back and forth communication and also the redesigns and the other things that go on with creating a website. So always tack on a couple extra hours, or even double how long you think it's going to take. And then how much do you want your hourly rate to be? I mean, if you want to make at least $20 or $25 an hour for the website, just use that rate and multiply it by the amount of hours you think it's going to take. Now, obviously, over time, you want to increase that hourly rate. You want to be making 50 or 75 or 100 or even more per hour by processing or creating a process for putting together the web design and going through this. But that's kind of how you want to think about it in terms of your own time. The other thing is the value to the client. Obviously, a website for somebody who's just starting out, say, a yoga studio, might not be as valuable to a website for a divorce lawyer. Obviously, a lawyer is going to get high-paying clients from their website, and leads to them through their website are extremely valuable. I mean, that's another branch of their marketing. So you want to think about what businesses are getting a good amount of money through the website, and those are the businesses that have the money to pay you, and that not only have the money to pay you, they also get the value from what they pay you. I mean, they should get a great looking website out of it. They should be getting more search traffic, especially locally. And as I said, these are the businesses you want to go after, the local service-oriented businesses where they don't need a crazy elaborate website. They just need 5 or 6 pages that tells people what they do, a little bit more about their company, maybe testimonials or reviews of their products or services. They could have a blog if they want to stay active and build a community around the website potentially. Think about how much value they're getting out of the site and price based off of that. I mean, if an extra 1 or 2 clients brings them $5,000 or $10,000 more a month, then the website is probably worth a couple $1,000s to them, if not more. The next slide here kind of gives you a visual of what you want to think about when you're making websites. Now, generally, web designers are going to fall into one of three categories. You have the business entrepreneur type people that don't really care that much about design. They just want to make money. And they're the ones that are going to be on the right side here, the pre-made template people. They're going to use a pre-made WordPress theme, put the information into that theme, probably do no customizing at all, and just sell it to a business for a really good markup, a really good profit. On the other end of that spectrum, you have more creative and design people that want to do something from scratch and build a website that way. And really, where you want to be is in the middle somewhere. You want to start, in my opinion, with a WordPress pre-made template for the vast majority of small business websites. But I like making customizations, spending a couple hours to make customizations to make sure that that template looks great and is completely unique. It doesn't look like, the demo template that you see online. And I tend to be a perfectionist, so a lot of times I'll find myself spending too much time on, frankly stupid things like, what a color looks like, or changing between two shades of red. So I spend a lot of time on really minor design details, and that's something that I always find myself needing to work on. But you really want to focus on efficiency over time. You want to make sure that you're getting better and getting faster. Otherwise, you're not really increasing the amount of money that you can make from each client or from each website. And to finish off, I want to just touch on the pricing structures that you can use. As I mentioned, you want to price per project whenever possible. A lot of times you'll need to have a consultation with a client to get an idea of the price range, but another alternative is to try and productize your services. So a great example of this is creating a standard business package website for, say, $2,000 or $2,500 that includes up to 10 pages. You create up to 10 pages for them. It might come with, hosting, domain registration. You might even throw in business cards if you want to get them done, maybe a business card design, or even a logo design, something like that, where you give them kind of a really unique package of things that will set them up online. Maybe even creating a Facebook page for them or social media properties. So there's a lot of things you could do. That's the great thing about the web. Even though there's a million and one services that do all these things, you're kind of the one that's going to hand choose all the different ones for these local businesses, and over time find out and learn which ones are working for them best, and you try and double down on those and eliminate the ones that aren't working. Now, in terms of getting your money, what I like to do is charge 50% up front. I always like to get paid before I do any work. Obviously, I'll send emails back and forth and give them a couple ideas of what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. But there's too many flaky people to do a huge project up front and to, assume they're going to pay you. And I found that I've even had a couple clients. In fact, I've had multiple clients. I shouldn't even call them clients because they're not. But I've had multiple business owners that have paid me the first half, the 50%, and I've done probably 80 to 90% of the website. It was just about done, and they just didn't contact me when I tried to finish things up. And I have not talked to them since, but I have that 50%. So, the other lesson to learn in there is, and another question that people ask is, should I have a contract? If you can avoid a contract by doing these productized services, maybe either a business package or a monthly package, then, it's a good idea to avoid contracts because people don't honor contracts. I mean, again, this is, most people are going to try to honor a contract, but if you put 101 details in a contract, people are going to glaze over 100 of them, and all they're going to worry about is their website. So I really like to keep, the deliverables, as I said, if you're going to do a contract, keep them really simple, 5 bullet points that tells them exactly what they're going to get and the time frame that it's going to happen. And you really need to meet these people in person. I think that helps as well to build trust. And what happens is over time, as you continue to do services for them, whether it be graphics, web stuff, creating new pages, marketing them online, on social media, maybe on Google, once you do that, people are going to come to you because you're going to get referrals from the people that you're doing work for. And that's how you build your business over time. I mean, your personal network is the best thing that you can tap into to get started with your web design business. So to finish up here, I want to end with a good quote from Bill Gates, and that is, your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. And that's really true. When people are unhappy, and when you make a mistake, that's when you're really going to learn, and when you're going to pivot, you're going to adjust, you're going to do something differently. It's not when things are going great and when you're doing, great work for everybody. I mean, you got to hit a couple of road bumps before you get to the point where it's smooth sailing with every client. And if you could do that with personal websites, then that's even better. That'll, accelerate your learning curve a little bit and help you out with clients. But the beauty of working for people, especially business owners, small business owners, that you're going to learn from them regardless, even if they are happy with what you do. You should be asking them a lot of questions about their business and how they grew their business. And that's really the biggest benefit, I think, of being a web designer for small businesses. That you get to have direct contact with the owners of these companies, because a lot of times the company is a one-man show, or maybe, one guy with 3 or 4 employees, and that's it. If you have any questions on this topic or any comments about web design pricing, maybe if you've done a project before, what was your cost? What did your client pay you? I'd love to hear more from you. So leave a comment below on the YouTube video, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also go to websiteprofitcourse.com and get more information from me that way. So again, hopefully you enjoyed this, got something out of it. If you have any questions, just let me know.